the rise of iron on the horizon and a new threat emerging, what is the state of our system today? The Hive, simply put, are in absolute chaos. Crota and his minions have been erased. His father Oryx, leader of the Hive, or more accurately a very large part of it, his daughters, his entire court, and his leadership have been exterminated. To add to this, their dreadnought, the main base of Hive power in the system, has been badly damaged and is now infiltrated by Guardian and Cabal forces. The Hellmouth on the moon has been largely gutted, and to make matters worse on the Hive, most of their more powerful servants are dead. The power vacuum that Malak attempted to seize has had a devastating effect on them, and as of now remains unfilled. Still a threat, especially since the Taken are still appearing, but incapable of any major actions for the time being. The Vex have experienced a large number of setbacks, though due to the nature of the Vex it's hard to really grasp the impact. They failed to mechanize and terraform Venus. They have lost a few gatekeepers, and their main seat of power, the Vault of Glass, has been gutted. With Atheon's loss, a major setback to them, the Black Garden has been ravaged as well, and the being we killed, known as the Heart of the Black Garden, is, at least for now, dead. They have failed to stop both Guardians and the Taken from harassing repair efforts, and are now somewhat strained, struggling to adequately patch the hole created. Their forces in the system, as far as we can tell, are hurting. While still a major threat, like the Hive, they simply do not have the immediate capability to launch major action, worth monitoring closely, but not losing sleep over. The Cabal have been, in a word, devastated. In fact, just about entirely annihilated. In a campaign similar to Napoleon's against Russia, the Cabal have underestimated conditions, stretched themselves too thin, reacted insufficiently to changes in the strategic scope, and have failed to do any real damage or gain any real momentum. Their bases on Mars and Phobos were wiped out, their entire command structures, including all of their Primus and Valus, and hundreds of lesser officers have been killed, including their Scion flares, leaving them essentially blind, deaf, and dumb. Excursions to the Reef, Dreadnought, and Mercury have ended in absolute failure. Their legions have been cut down to mere handfuls, all of which cannot replenish losses and most of which are cut off from their supply lines. Ineffective tactics against very effective guerrilla warfare by Guardians, surprise attacks from the Taken, and a brutal war of attrition against the Vex have brought them to their knees. The Cabal left are little more than a skeleton crew, waiting to be finished off. They're incapable of any offensive action, and are barely holding their own defensive perimeters with exhausted, weary forces. The House of Devils, now hanging on by a thread, what was once the most powerful house on Earth, has lost not one but two Archons, their Prime Servitor and their Kel. This, along with a myriad of unsuccessful endeavors, very strong Guardian offensives, and the recent Taken attacks have left them with more than 1 foot in the grave. Desperate, this house is likely to be dangerous by virtue of the fact that their backs are against the wall. The House of Kings is now, if not already, the most significant fallen threat in the system, simply because we know very little about them, save that they have an interest in our Golden Age and tend to pull the strings of the other houses from the shadows. Their Kel, Prime Servitor, and Archon are all well hidden, with a small number of barons running things on their orders. It is known that they badly want the Traveler, and due to their secrecy, it's likely that they will make a move soon. The House of Winter, another house that has all but collapsed. They have lost their Kel, Draxus, their Prime Servitor long dead. Their valuable, crucial, smaller servitors have been hit very hard. Their Archon is also dead, and after failing to join the House of Wolves, they're likely to fall and scatter from infighting. Currently not a threat, and likely will not be for a long time, if ever again. The House of Wolves, with Skolas dead, Prime and Archon dead, their leadership and deadliest operatives dead, their supplies and infrastructure about gone. No known territorial claims, and just a few lone wanderers desperately clinging to the name as they are pursued by the Reef and Vanguard. This house is essentially dead and is no threat. The Reef in the House of Judgment. The Reef has suffered extreme losses due to the House of Wolves rebellion followed very closely by the Taken War. Among these are the majority of the Queen's fleet, which is the Reef's main military asset. The Queen, her brother, and her personal guards, who are possibly dead, but certainly MIA. They've also lost a large number of soldiers and material not easily replaced, which has left them vulnerable. House of Judgment has taken over as a spy master and is aware of the issue, along with Petra Venge, who has become the leader of the Awoken in the Reef. But the problem is not easily remedied. Due to the alliance between the city and the Reef, there is no threat that they pose to us. They've simply suffered harsh losses and will need time to replenish. Not a lot of information is available on the Nine. As always, mostly a mystery. However, they have been affected by the Taken War, at least to the extent that they've suffered a weakened ally in the Reef. Through the exact nature of the political relationship is hard to summarize, but seems though strained and beneficial. And they may have also suffered losses from the Taken and Hive directly, as the Jovians were during the Dreadnought's arrival. This is also unconfirmed. The Warmind of Earth is, as of now, best characterized as deeply anxious, due to a number of break-ins from the Hive, the Taken, and the Fallen, and grudgingly increasing dependent on the Guardians to save him. Rasputin is trying to bring this under control while also examining millions of win-loss scenarios as he searches for the best path to combat the darkness. While he has yet to reach out to us and directly ally himself, he has been helpful in our searching of Golden Age warsats, giving us schematics and data to build weapons, and striking at our enemy to keep them off kilter. However, he is still very independent and makes it clear that he is not necessarily on our side, so much as the side of existence in general. Currently capable of being a huge threat, but as of now he is more of a background figure with his own agenda. The city and the Vanguard. Biggest winners are currently us. That's a very big and much needed change. We have arisen from the Taken War as the strongest force currently in the system. A point hard to argue for once, with the various enemy factions severely hurting and licking their wounds. The Tower and the Guardians, who call it home, have asserted themselves to be a very strong opposition. This is capitalized by the slow but sure growth of the city's foundries and private sectors. A resource boom due to the influx of both Guardian and private smart matter collections, along with a number of indicators of the Traveler's growing strength and the increasing number of Guardians joining already record ranks. The technological advances and increased production capacity has made the city a crucial trade ally for the Reef. Ships are now being built from scratch instead of partially reconstructed Golden Age salvage. And if Everest and the factions are any indicator, the business strength of the city is growing too. This is the time to restock and prepare for the coming struggles, but also to start shifting to a more offensive posture. The Vanguard has already seen huge gains, aside from the already listed losses inflicted on their enemies. They've come under possession of more land and strategic locations, infiltrated the Dreadnought, and have consolidated their intelligence and power to more effectively function as a proper military force, and less of a ragtag group of advisors. We have come a very long way from a surrounded city huddling under a dying god as we waited for the final blow. Over a short time, we've really become the big winners of the recent conflicts, and hopefully we can maintain that momentum. As we make our way into the Plaguelands and Fell Winter's Peak, you will be standing where the Iron Lords fell. Live up to their names, and become a Lord of Iron yourself.